Hey, what's going on? Mathew Tamin here with another Joomla tutorial for you. Joomla 4 is finally here. Now, I know this came out about a month or so ago, but I wanted to wait until a few versions had been released before creating a tutorial. And the reason for that is a lot of times when new softwares get released, there's a lot of bugs, a lot of fine tuning, things like that, before you upgrade. So people have questions, Mathew, should I upgrade my Joomla website to Joomla 4? I'm building my first website. Do I use Joomla 3 or do I go Joomla 4? And all those questions, we're going to take a look at some of those things and address them. And we are going to demo, and I'm going to give you my feedback and a review of the brand new Joomla 4. But before we do that, I get people asking me questions all the time. Mathew, I want to learn Joomla. I'm a beginner. I want to get started. Do you teach Joomla? Yes, I do. If you go to my website, MathewTamin.com, you can sign up for one of my one-on-one sessions, whether it's an individual, for corporate or group. I do training as well. So make sure that you go to MathewTamin.com and you can be able to learn Joomla at your own pace. So with all that out the way, let's take a look now at the back end of Joomla. So when you first create an account, and by the way, you can go to joomla.org, you click this button where it says launch, and you can put your name here or the site name if you want to test it out for a while just to see what it feels like, what it looks like. This is a great way that they let you try it out for 30 days, absolutely free. That's what, I recommend for you to do if you're getting started with Joomla, because you don't have to worry about servers and things like that. Now everything gets set up for you. So once you've done that, you're going to create everything. Let me just get this out the way. So this is what the back end looks like. And by the way, this is being hosted on Cloud Access servers. So that's where the sites are being hosted. So once you do that, you're going to get this login. Now, one of the things that's been changed with Joomla is that the back end login page is completely different. It doesn't look like version 3 looks like. So you have this login here. You have some information about support, documentation, and things like that here, and you can see your site's hosted with. So once you've logged into the back end of Joomla, this is what you get. Now, if you get this message here that talks about your PHP version, that's okay. You have to contact your web hosting company and they can upgrade it for you. Now, I recommend that you do this because when this, if you don't upgrade this, then there's security issues that you can have. So you want to make sure that you get this upgraded, and you can do so on your cPanel. Just contact your web host, tell them that you want the latest version of PHP to use with your Joomla website. So one of the first things that you're going to notice is that you get this message here. Okay, it's just asking you to install, you can read through statistics and stuff like that here. You can click always, once, on never. For me, I just always click on always because this enables statistics for them to gather some data to understand. It's not going to give them any detail about your site per se, but it's just to see who's using Joomla, and it helps with that. So when you do that, it's going to show you here your Joomla notifications. This is where you get all the notifications about Joomla, anything, extensions, overrides, updates. You're going to get that here. So everything looks to be okay. Right now, there's nothing to really update yet. So this is something that's different too, because with the back end, it looks a lot different from what you're used to seeing. So I'm just going to click here always, and you can change those settings later. And then right here is going to show you all the users that have been logged in. You can add different modules to your dashboard. So you click on here, you can select the different things that you want to see when you first log in. Okay, sometimes maybe you want to see the login form, you want to see messages, you have sample data. So you get to pick and choose the information that you want to see on the dashboard. This is something that is a lot easier with the Joomla 4, and it's very clean, very simple. All you have to do is hover your mouse here, and you can pick and choose the information that you want to see. Now, I'm not going to do anything yet, but I'm just showing you if you wanted to do that. So let's X up over here. Okay, so another thing too that they've changed tremendously is you notice that before in Joomla 3, you had the menu was at the very top. They've changed the location of the menu from the very top to the sidebar. So now you have this post installation message here, your Joomla site, and the user menu. Okay, so let's take a look now at the content. So you click down here. The content is still the exact same thing that you had with the Joomla 3. So it's just where you put all your articles, your categories, your field groups, your media is not here. Your site modules is not here. So you click on your articles, for example. And this is where you can add your articles. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with articles in Joomla is another web page. In other words, this is where if you want to create a page, a website, this is called your articles. So let's take a look at the front end. Now, when you look at the front end here, there's absolutely nothing here, right? That's because it's just absolutely blank. There's nothing there. And they've also changed the template that's been used on the front end. And we're going to take a look at that in just a moment. So right now, this is your home page. This is what the general public is going to see. And everything that you see here, you can change it on the back end. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details of everything, but I want to give you enough information so you understand how Joomla 4 works, which is similar to Joomla 3, but they've just changed the location where things are. And another thing too with the articles that they used to have the menus at the very top here. Again, they've changed that. Okay, so you used to be able to click at the very top, but they've moved that and you have your options here. With the options, this is where you can change how articles is seen on the front end. So when you click that there, let's go to the front end. Now there's nothing here, by the way. So let's just say you wanted to choose a different layout by default. That's the layout there. If you want your article, your titles to show, you choose titles to show. So for example, this is saying home. When you put content here, if I click don't show, it's not going to show the titles and usually links. So all the changes that you want for your article or your web pages to have, this is where it's going to be. You can make those changes here. So you want to show the author. Let me just go back here. We're going to demonstrate that in here so you can see. Let's go back here. So let's click to add your first article. So I'm just going to call this first Joomla 4 article. And I'm just going to copy this and I'm just going to paste it on here just to kind of show you what that looks like. Okay. And then you have your images and links. This is where you can upload images and you can be able to link them. You have the options here. Again, you can have individual options for each article. In other words, you have what's called a global setting. A global setting is where you set global for all the articles that are going to be shown. So for example, if you want that all the articles that you post for the titles not to show, you can lift this here, or you want the titles to show or not to show, you can choose the global settings. That means that every single article that you upload is going to show the title. Now, if you change, if let's say you want just one article that doesn't show the title, where you click here and you can say hide, this is going to overwrite the global settings that was once set to all articles showing the title. Now, this article is not going to show just this specific one only, not everything else. So that's the beautiful thing about using the global settings, is that you can override a whole bunch of things. You can set permissions for everything, or you can do it individually. So you scroll down here. Again, this is based on your personal preference. If you wanted to change something, you can do that as well. So let's go back here. And when it talks about the alias is just an auto-generated title. This is what the search engine see. This is what people see when they visit that page. So for example, when someone come in, they're going to see, you see right here, it's going to show the title and it's going to show them what that particular link is. And then you have the categories. You can create as many categories as you need to, but the default category right now is on categorize. So right now it's set to on categorize. You can add as many as you need to. The reason for categories is that it allows you and helps you to organize things. You can have these articles, you can be featured, you can have the public here, you can have it for guests, you can have it for registered, for special. Now what this means is that permission levels, we're going to take a look at that in just a moment. You can set different permission levels. So let's say that you didn't want the general public to have access to this particular content. You have a membership website. Well, this is a great way for you to do so, to make sure that only specific individuals have access to this. And you can put notes, you can put the version here. We'll take a look at content version later on. So once you've done that, you have the options, you have the publishing. You can choose to, if you want this particular article to start on a certain date and to finish on a certain date. So let's say that you have a membership website, right? And you want to protect this content or release this content to show on certain dates for a period of time. Well, you can do so here. You can click to start the date that you want it to start, and you can click the date that you want it to end, and so on in terms of the feature creation date. This you put in description for SEO for the robots. You can put that there for the configuration screen, the publishing option We're going to look over that later on. So for now, let's just click. You can click this drop down. You click on save to menu or save and new. So let's just click on save and close for now. And then let's go to the home page and let's reload it. Okay, so you don't see anything there, right? That's okay. That's fine. So we're going to take a look at that in just a moment. So right now, this is the user. So first thing is, let us now go over to the front end. So this is where the menus are. Right now you have just one menu. Anytime that you see this home icon, that is where the home page is located. So let's click on the main menu. So you have home, but it's showing feature articles. And right now the article that we created is not a feature article. So I'm going to right click here, just open this in a new tab. So we can kind of go back and forth as you can see. So now let's go back to content. Let's go to articles. What this is saying is that it's going to show all the featured articles from the website. So if we make that article feature, then it should show on the homepage. So let's see, let's click on feature. So now let's go on the homepage and let's refresh. And just like that, you're able to see the article. The reason it's showing now because it's shown as a featured article. So how did I do that? So let's go back now to the menu. So you click on the menu and then let's go over to details. This is where you click to select. Now this in the menu part of it, this is where you choose what you want to connect to the front end of your website. So let's say you have an extension, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. You have an article you just created and you want that article to show on the front page. Well, you click on select and then you click whichever part of your website, the back end that you want to connect on the front end so that people are able to see. You have to understand that Joomla has a front end and the back end. What you're looking at now is the back end. So I clicked on articles. And I can choose archive, I can choose category blog, list, new article, single article. So I can choose what I need from there and then I can make that as the default. And then of course, again, with the options for the layouts, it has different options you can choose here. Again, there's a lot of options and that's the beautiful thing about Joomla is that it gives you a lot of options, but it's very simple and very straight to the point. It's not as confusing as people think it is. You have the metadata. You have the page display. So let's click on close for now. I just wanted to show you that part of it. So let's go back to the front end. Now, when I talked about what you want to show on the front end, let's say that you want to hide the user, for example. Okay. So let's go back now to the content. Let's go back to articles. If you wanted just this specific article to not show the title where it says first Joomla article or to link it, we can do that. So let's go to first Joomla article. Now we're going to change that just for this article alone. So let's go to options. Now where it says the title, based on the global settings, every article that's published is going to show the title. How? Let's go back here. So you go here to content, you go to articles, and then you go to options. So you have to understand how the global settings work. So this is the global settings for your articles. So right now it's set to show, okay? So that means again that every article that you post is going to show the title, right? But if you want to change it for an individual article, you just come here where it says title. Let's click on this. Let's say we want to hide this and let's click on save and let's go to the front end now. So if we did everything correctly, we should see that the title of this particular article should not be shown on the front end. So let's see if we did it right or if we have to do something else. So you refresh. So when you refresh it, you notice that nothing changed, right? Okay, so let's refresh it again. Now it disappeared. Now, why is that? One thing too that I forgot to mention or show you is that when you go over to the menu, let's go over here now to the menu. So let's close this out, okay? The reason why when we refreshed it before the title then disappear is because there's a section here in the menu part for articles. So when you click on, you go to menu for that specific menu that you want to change. And then you go over to the options. There is a section here when you click on the drop down, it says, how do you want this title? What settings do you want to follow? You can use article settings, you can hide, or you can show. In other words, this gives you control because if you want certain articles to show certain content and not others, then you can do this for individual articles. Joomla is going to use the settings for the individual articles instead of a general one to make that happen. So that is why before we clicked on it, it's then disappeared because we're using the article settings. What does that mean? Let's go back again now. If you look at the global settings, linking titles, intro text, position article, it's showing the author. If you look at this article right now, it's showing the author right here. So let's say we don't want to show this author, right? Well, in the settings for the article, it's saying that the author should be shown. So now let's scroll down here. We're going to find this section here. The author, we don't want to show this. So let's click to hide, right? So let's come in now and we'll click on save. And let's refresh. So again, as the previous one, as I mentioned before, it has the use article settings. So all of these here allow you to use the article settings. I just forgot to mention that. So when you click on save, it's going to use the article settings instead of your Joomla, the default settings. So let's do that and click on refresh. So now you see there that's disappeared. So that's how you work with the articles, because you're going to create a lot of articles if you want to use the bare bones of Joomla. So let's click on save and close. So that's an overview for how you use the articles. And I just want to give an overview for different parts of how Joomla works now and some of the different changes. So you have the categories, create as many categories as you need to. You have the featured articles. So when you click on here, it's going to show you all the articles that's been featured. You have your media, and things are a lot faster now with the media part. You can choose the different sections where you want to upload. You can create new folders. You can upload an image. Different things. So this is the media manager where all your images and, you know, if you want to put videos, which I don't recommend, but you want to mostly put your photos here. And then you have your site modules. Now the site modules, let's click on new position here. This is the modules that you see on the website. So in Joomla, every section of this website has what's called modules. Okay, so you see the main menu, you see the login form. This is where you can designate where you want things to go. So if we go back here, we're going to see something. If we go back, we have 1, 2, 3 modules right now, and the positions that they are in is breadcrumb, sidebar, sidebar right. So this is the sidebar right. All the content here, this is the sidebar right. Let's move this over here. So if I disable this by clicking to unpublish the main menu, or let's say the login form, let's click to disable it, right? Unpublish it. Now let's refresh the home page. Now that's no longer there because this is position and the sidebar right. So you can add different items to different parts. So let's do that. So let's click on new. What do we want to add here? So let's go to, we can do statistics. We can do tag similar, but we don't have any tags right now. We can do articles category. So let's just go to article latest. Let's just click to add. Now, when we do that, it's going to ask you to display how many. We just want to go to just one, or you can choose how many you need. And we're going to call this latest articles. And then menu assignment, you want it to be on certain pages. That's one of the beautiful things about Joomla is that you can designate what pages that you want the specific module to be on. Maybe you want to be just on the home page. You just want to be on a certain page. Well, you can do that here. But for now, let's just keep it up at on all pages. And then you can choose featured articles to show. Do you want to hide the author? You can choose to drop down from there. So let's just keep things simple. Let's choose the position. Okay, you click the drop down and let's choose the position here. So we're going to go to sidebar right. Okay, so now this is going to show on sidebar right and it's going to show the title. So let's click on save and we're going to refresh the home page. So now let's refresh this if we did it right. So now we have the latest article. So this is how you position things in different position on the back end. There's so many different positions there. So let's click on save and close and let's click on the login form. Let's publish that again. So now we'll go to the front end. We can publish it and there you have it. So module positions, you know, a lot of times people think that they're so complicated. They're not as complicated once you understand what those are. And once you do, you can position things differently. So if we go to options right here, it's going to show you just a simple administrative modules, language filtering, don't worry about this stuff. A lot of this stuff you have to worry about it for now. Okay, so let's just click and close out of that. And then let's go over to, we did the administrative modules. This is for the back end. All the stuff that you see when you log in, you can change the positioning for those. The sample data, you can move things around. But for the most part, you know, you don't really have to mess with this if you're just getting started. You know, you can leave it where it is. And as you get more comfortable, then you can do that. So this is just the position. Joomla work on module position. So this positions here, this is for the back end. And then the site module position, this is for the front end. So let's go over now to the menu. So let's take a look at all menus. The menu, this is where you can create as many menus as you need to. So when you click on the new menu here, it shows you this, and you can click to go to new menu. The great thing about it is that you can create as many menus as you need to. So I'm going to call this new menu, and then a unique name is going to be new menu, and then the permission. Now you can make this menu accessible to a certain group, but for now, let's just keep things simple. Click on save and close. So another area that you're going to have to take a look at is your menus. Menus allow you to build, like you see right here, you can add different things to your menu. You can add multiple pages if you need to. You can add multiple menus and connect those menus to different parts of your website. So let's just do a sample menu, for example. So let's click on just new here. And we're going to call this one just test menu. You can call it whatever you want. Just going to call this test menu, and click on save and close. So now we just created a test menu. You can add multiple items to this menu. We're going to add a module position for this one, but we're not going to go over that just yet. So pretty much when you add new content on your website, if you're trying to figure out where the menus are, this is where all the menu items on your website is going to be. So let's go over to components. Now, components allow you to be able to add different things. Right now, there's no components added yet. So let's go over to system, and let's go over to extensions. This is where you can upload extensions that you have bought. You can upload it directly from Joomla. Now, what exactly is an extension? An extension comes in different format. An extension is just an addition to your site to give it certain features that the core part of Joomla doesn't have. Let's say you want to do some type of e-commerce, you want to sell products right now. Well, the core part of Joomla itself, you'd have to do some hardcore coding to do that. But if you want to make things a lot easier and, faster and smoother, you need to use what's called an extension. It just adds to it. So let's say you wanted to go to install from the web tab. This is where all the extensions that have been created by developers, this is where you can come in and you can install the website. Now most extensions have a free version, and then you have some that have a paid version. Now the free version is a great way to get you started. And then if you want to upgrade more, you can certainly do the paid version. So if you wanted to add something here, this is all the different categories that you can choose from. And there are thousands of extensions. Now, I want to say something about extension. When I first started using Joomla back in 2007, I got carried away. I saw extensions that can do so many things, and I was so excited that I just installed so many of them. The problem with that is that it can cause major issues. It can conflict with other extensions, and sometimes it can slow your site down. Okay, so one thing you want to keep in mind, only put extensions on your website that you think you absolutely need. You don't need a whole lot, okay? You do not need a ton of extensions. That's where a lot of beginners make that mistake. They have to install 6 to 7, 8, 9, 10 extensions. No, you don't want to do that. You find out exactly what you need to work for the type of site that you have, and then you install those. Okay, so you can choose to install anything here. The first extension that I tell people and clients to make sure that you install is the Akiba backup. So let's do that. Click on backup, and you click on install, and then you click again on install. Then you're going to get this message that says Akiba backup has been successfully installed. Now, when you go to components, it's going to show you the extension that you just installed. Now, the reason why I recommend Akiba backup is the first one that you do, because a lot of times you work on your website, you make a mistake, you do something, all of a sudden your site doesn't work as it used to, and then now you're stuck because you have to start over, right? So this backup here helps you to get rid of that problem where you can restore your backup. So this is where you have all the extensions, so you can search through here, and you can also go to joomla.org to find those extensions as well. Now, install from a URL. Sometimes you can install certain extensions, or you having issues with it, you can put that URL right here and to install from there, or you could also install from a specific folder, usually from your temp folder, install directly on here. Okay, so I'm not going to cover that now. Then you have your contacts. This is just another way for you to put contacts. Let's say you have a company directory. You want to put in, the contact names. You can put in the categories. You can create different fields for it. That's what this component tab is all about. You have your news feed. If you want to get some news feed, you can put that in there. I know there's some sites that, want to share news feed. So you come here, you click add first news feed, and then you just follow the instructions to put it on there. So this right here, you put the title. So this is great because this allows you to create your own news feed, and you can also integrate it from, with other websites as well. So you choose the category, have a smart search where it's going to search your site. You have filters, you have content maps. Again, I'm not going to go into a lot of details with this. I have another course that I'm working at to go extensively in all of this, but I want to give you like an overview of what to expect. And then you have your users right here. This is where you manage all the users on your website. So when you click on there, it's going to show you whatever users that you have. And then you go to groups. You can click to add a new user, or you can change the permission for a certain user that maybe they have certain permissions that you don't want them to have. So let's click on new here. And let me give you a quick crash course on the users part of it. Now, I want to keep things simple, not too complicated. Okay, so just remember this. Registered users are people who create an account on your website and they have access to this, or what's called register. These are people that maybe they purchase something and they want to access certain content, and you get to choose who have access to it. So register is generally on this part. Okay. And then you have the editor, the author, and the publisher. They have, some more rights, which I'm going to cover right now. And then remember this too, the super user. So when you're creating an account for someone, if you don't trust that person, do not make them a super user. What that means is that they're going to get exclusive access to every part of your website. So if you give access of your website to the wrong person, guess what? They can do as much stuff as you can. So you want to make sure that before someone get the super access or super user, they are someone that you can trust, that that they wouldn't screw up your site. Okay. And then you can choose the templates here. I'm not going to cover that again. This is just for beginners. I want to go over just the basics. You can choose your language, the front end. You can choose your editor. You have the TinyMC, the code mirror. You have the none, and then you have the language and the time zone right there. So once you've done that, you put the username, the login, all that detail, and then you click on save and close. So that's the user part of it. Now let's go over to the fields and the access level. I just talked about the access levels. This is where it shows you manage, register, super user. Okay, author, manage, super user. So this is just showing you what they can be able to do or they can be able to see. There's certain content that you don't want certain people to see, and you don't want certain people to be able to get access to. This would just tell you this is a public, this for guests, you have a manager, and so on and so forth. And then you have your different fields here. Fields is just to get more information that you need from people. So right now there's no fields, so just go to click on new, and you can put in here, test, and you can put in the title for this field, what type of information you want to collect. It can be a text. You can auto generate. What options do you want? So I'm going to click this right now. Just leave it at the default. What type of group? It's no group yet. Access, just keep that public, and then just click on save and close. And then there you have it. Now this is just a simple text fill. So when people create an account on the front end of it, they can be able to see this. You can collect a little bit more from them. You can create fill groups as well. And also user notes. Maybe you want to take notes about specific users. You can create the categories. You have your privacy. You can request capabilities, consent. Consent, again, privacy has become such a huge thing. So you can create privacy notes from here. So that way people understand. You have user actions log, and it's just going to show you what everyone's been doing on the site, who logged in. It shows you, how long they logged in ago they did, their name. And this is really great because it shows you all the stuff that, they did, and you kind of keep track of what was done on your website. Because if you have multiple people accessing your website, doing things, then you need to know what's going on with it. And let's go over to mass mail users. Now, mass mail, you can mass mail everyone on your site. You can CC or BCC a recipient. You can send it to all. You can also use register. You can send it to specific groups or to everyone. Now, they have extensions that you can be able to use to do your mailings with. I don't typically use the Joomla default. and you can click the send mail. And then you have the messaging as well. You can send private messages. And then you go back to the system. If you need more help, you click right here and it's going to show you the help. So now let's go back to the dashboard here. And I want to take a look now at, you see right now, you can take a look at the languages. You can take a look at the templates, the site modules. So this kind of gives you a cleaner, dashboard overview here. You can pretty much organize it the way that you want it to be. And now let's take a look at the template. Now Joomla has changed the default template that you see right here. So let's go over to site templates so that you can see, because Joomla has changed a lot with the new templating system. So this is the current template now. I don't know how to say this, Cassiope. I guess that's what it is. But this is the only template that you have. Before, that has so many different templates, and this is up to date. So this is where anytime that you install a new template, you're going to see that on the back end here, which is this one right here. And it's very simple and very clean. So again, thank you for watching this. Hope that you learned something. I have a new course that's going to be coming out soon that goes into a lot of details about Joomla 4. But if you're looking to learn how to build professional websites, whether you want to learn from scratch or how to use a template, or you need to learn how to do it, I have some training, one-on-one training here that you can be able to do to get access to it. And you can learn, you can skip the learning curve and learn everything that you need to learn how to do. And this course, it walks you through it all, and I'll make sure that at the end of the course, if you want to build a website, it's a 90 minutes training. So if you want to create a website, I can teach you how to build it in 90 minutes. So make sure you go to MathewTamin.com and you click on training. And I look forward to helping you learn how to build professional websites with Joomla.